Westernspring Television. Ours it is.
Here are the top stories of the news. Presidential Election Petition Tribunal begins the hearing on consolidated suit against Tinubu's victory. Department of State Services officials storms the EFCC's Lagos office. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian drones strike Moscow as Kiev comes on a barrage of missiles for the third time in 24 hours. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Westernspring Television. My name is Opayamuni. We begin with legal matters as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has commenced the hearing on the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Labour Party, Allied People's Movement against the victory of President Bola Tinubu. Former Minister of State for Employment, Festus Keyamo, was cited in court this morning for the first time since the Presidential Election Petition Court began sitting. Keyamo, a senior advocate of Nigeria and former spokesperson for Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council, donned his legal robe for today's hearing in defense of President Bola Tinubu. The definite hearing is set to kick off today after the court consolidated all the petitions before it at the last adjourned date. The consolidation is for expeditious hearing since most of the grounds of the petitioners are similar. The court further adjourned the hearing of the petition of the APM against the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the All Progressives Congress, APC, and others to June 2. Away from legal matters, United States President Joe Biden has pledged his commitment towards working with President Tinubu to strengthen ties between his country and Nigeria. Mr. Biden stated this in a statement shortly after Tinubu's inauguration yesterday. Mr. Biden said the U.S. would continue to work closely with Nigeria to deliver a more peaceful and prosperous future for the world, noting that Nigeria's success is the world's success. While the UK government has also congratulated President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima on their inauguration. The president, shortly after his inauguration yesterday, met with envoys from the UK, US, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Israel, Cape Verde, Somalia, and Nicaragua at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Meanwhile, as Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima were being sworn in as the President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 28 state governors were also sworn in across the country's 6 geopolitical zones. Daniel Odeyemi completes the story.
As Bola Tinubu got sworn in today as the 16th president of Nigeria since the return of democracy in 1999, 28 state governors were sworn in across the country's 6 geopolitical zones, including 10 old governors who were re-elected for second terms. It will be recalled 8 states have off-cycle elections in the country. The new governors are Nasir Idris, Kebbi State, Kefas Agbo, Taraba, Basi Otu, Cross River, Peter Mba Enugu, Muhammad Bago, Niger State, Ubasani Kaduna, Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State, and Umar Namadi of Jigawa State. Others include Diko Rada Katsina, Umo Eno Akwa Ibom, Aisent Alia Benue, Francis Wifero Ebonyi, Siminalayi Fubara River State, Alex Oti Abia, Caleb Mutfwang Plateau, Abakabio Kano, Sharif Oborivori Delta, and Dauda Lawa of Zamfara State. 10 governors who are returning for a second term are Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Dapo Abiodun Ogun State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu Lagos, Amadu Fetene Adamawa, Noah Yahaya Gombe, Bala Muhammad Bauchi, Mai Malabuni Yobe, Babagana Zulum Borano, Abdullahi Sule Nasarawa, and Abdurrahman Abdurazak of Kwara State. The inauguration across Southwest was inundated by slight showers of rainfall, seen as a symbol of God's blessings by some Nigerians. In Oyo State, Seyi Makinde and his deputy Barrister Adebayo Olawa's second-term inauguration ceremony took place at the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, Ibadan. The inauguration ceremony of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's second term in office and his deputy Obafemi Hamzat held at the Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Lagos State. In Ogun State, the inauguration of Dapo Abiodun into second term in office held at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abeokuta. Meanwhile, the Kano State Governor-elect, Abba Kabir, was greeted by a massive crowd at his inauguration at the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano. The stadium was painted red as many wore red caps, a symbol of the Kwankwasiya movement. The handover is quite important in Kano as power switches from the APC to the NNPP, with Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso being a causa factor. APC's Ganduje had initially planned to hand over to the new governor on Sunday instead of Monday, the official handover date, so that he can attend the inauguration of President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. However, NNPC Abba Kabir did not attend the event on Sunday. The governor-elect's transition committee insisted that the event be held today. Mr. Ganduje thus delegated the secretary to the state government, Usman Alaji, to hand over to the new governor today. Another state with a carnival-like ceremony was Abia State. Everybody was in a celebratory mood for Labour Party's Alex Oti's inauguration. Of the 28 governors sworn in across the country today, 16 governors were elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress. The People's Democratic Party has 10 governors, while Labour Party has one in Abia State, and the New Nigeria People's Party has one in Kano State. Daniel Odeyemi, Westernspring Television.
Less than 24 hours after mounting the saddle of leadership, Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf this morning sacked the Executive Secretary of the State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board, Muhammad Abba Dambata. The governor's spokesman, Sanusi Bature, disclosed this in a statement this morning, noting that the governor also approved the appointment of Laminu Rabiu as the new Executive Secretary of the Pilgrims Board. Also, the hammer fell on the chairman of the Pilgrims Board, Sheikh Abdullah Saleh, Pakistan, who was replaced by Alhaji Yusuf Lawan. The governor also announced the new members of the board, including Abbas Abubakar Daneji, Shei Mahula, Munir Lawan, Ismail Mangu, Aishatu Munir Matawale, and Dr. Sani Ashir. According to the statement, the appointees are expected to take over the affairs of the board with immediate effect so as to ensure successful 2023 Hajj operations. Still in Kano State, Governor Abba Yusuf has vowed to reopen the murder case against the majority leader of the House of Representatives, Alhassan Ado Doguwa. Mr. Doguwa is an All Progressives Congress APC member representing the state Doguwa Tudunwada federal constituency, and during the last general election was accused of leading thugs to cause violence while possessing firearms. Following his alleged involvement in the violence recorded during the election, the police arrested Dogo at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Makia, on February 28 after he failed to honor an invitation. The lawmaker was subsequently arraigned for alleged murder and violence during the election. But a few days to the end of the APC's Abdullah Ganduje-led administration, the State Ministry of Justice cleared Mr. Dogowa of all murder charges. However, the new governor in his inaugural speech yesterday vowed to reopen the murder case against Dogowa, adding that his government will investigate all cases of political violence that led to the loss of lives and properties across the state in the last 8 years. In the meantime, Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has appointed Professor Chidi Ebere Onye as the new secretary to the state government. The appointment was announced in a statement personally signed by the governor last night and released by the press by his media office. According to the statement, Professor Onye was a member of the transition committee that developed an actionable plan for the Peter Mbah administration based on his manifesto and social contract with the people of Enugu State. Until his appointment, Professor Onye was the managing director of United Kingdom Niger Infrastructure Facility. Less than 24 hours after taking the oath of office as Katsina Governor, Dr. Diko Umar Rada has Architect Ahmed Dangiwa as Secretary to the Katsina State Government. Dangiwa, a former FMBN boss, was Diko Jobe Campaign Director General in the 2023 Katsina governorship election. The new Katsina governor also appointed Jabiru Saudi as his chief of staff. The appointment was contained in a statement signed by the governor himself and 9 other positions. The governor congratulated his new appointees, urging them to join hands with him in turning around the state's fortune. In Plateau State, new governor Caleb Mutfwang has described as worrisome the over 200 billion naira debt burden inherited from his predecessor, Simon Lalong. Governor Mutfwang disclosed this in his inaugural speech yesterday, soon after his swearing in at the Jos Rangpan Township Stadium. He said that he understands clearly the enormity of the task before him, and he has no illusions that it is going to be an easy ride. He lamented that practically every sector in the state requires urgent redress, adding that there are no quick fixed solutions to these challenges. The governor further stated that his administration was prepared to take the challenges head-on and will hit the ground running immediately. Amid the fresh fuel scarcity in Nigeria, the Osun State government has threatened to seal off filling stations other than premium motor spirit, also known as petrol. Governor Ademola Adeleke, in a statement this morning by spokesman Olawale Rashid, said any fuel station found guilty of ordering fuel to create artificial scarcity will be sealed off and operators prosecuted for crime of economic sabotage. The fresh fuel scarcity in the country followed the inaugural pronouncement by Nigeria's new president, Bola Tinubu, who said yesterday that the era of subsidy payment on fuel has ended. The former Lagos State governor said the 2023 budget made no provision for fuel subsidy, and more so, subsidy payment is no longer justifiable. Fuel queues have since resurfaced across the country since the presidential pronouncement as Nigerians forage for the premium product. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Westernspring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
The legendary Queen of Zazzau is best known to historians as Queen Amina of Zaria, an old walled town and capital of the Hausa state of Zazzau. Amina was a great warrior and the first woman to rule the ancient kingdom of Zazzau. Her 34 years as queen witnessed an unprecedented expansion of Zazzau by conquests. Queen Amina of Zaria belongs to the class of Amazons by the might of her army and her strings of conquests. She opened Zaria to trans-border trade and was said to have initiated kola nut cultivation in the ancient kingdom. The Hausa Muslim figure was born in 1533 and died in 1610 at the age of 77 years. Folklores remember Aminatu, the Queen of Zazzau, as a brave, smart and talented leader whose giant statue now adorns the National Arts Theatre in Lagos, Nigeria, while many educational institutions bear her name. Westernspring Television identifies Queen Amina as a watershed character in history.
Welcome back on Spring News at 12 on Westernspring Television. Now to the rest of the stories. Officials of the Department of State Services, DSS, have stormed the Lagos State Office of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, located at number 15A, Awolowo Road in Lagos. But the DSS refuted reports that its personnel denied operatives of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission access to its office. A spokesperson for the service, Peter Afunaya, said the DSS was occupying its own facility where it was carrying out an operation. DSS officials had yesterday parked on the road leading to the EFCC office It was reported that officials of the EFCC could be seen milling outside their offices, with the DSS family in charge of the locked premises. Talking business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, has welcomed the pronouncement of President Bola Tinubu on the removal of fuel subsidy. In his inaugural address yesterday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared an end to the era of subsidy payment, stating that the 2023 budget did not provide for fuel subsidy. Responding to this, the NNPC held an emergency press conference at the NNPC Towers in Abuja, stating that the move was in the company's best interest. NNPC urged Nigerians to stay calm and not to panic buy fuel, noting that it was working to ensure that there is no shortage of fuel in the country. However, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, opposed the move, noting that they were not in support of a fuel subsidy removal at this time. IPMAN's National Public Relations Officer, Ukadike Chinedu, called on the new government to dialogue with marketers before taking the decision to remove subsidy. Still in business, oil fell this morning, giving up earlier gains as concerns about the viability of a U.S. debt ceiling pact cooled the market's risk on sentiment and mixed messages from major producers clouded the supply outlook ahead of their meeting this weekend. Brent crude futures fell to 0.8% to $76.48 a barrel by 6:15 GMT after rising by 0.5% earlier this morning. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude dipped 42% to $72.25 a barrel, down 0.6% from Friday's close. There was no settlement on the debt ceiling agreement yesterday because of a U.S. public holiday. Some outright Republican lawmakers said yesterday they might oppose a deal that would raise the debt ceiling in the U.S. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian drones struck Moscow this morning and were shot down, Russian authorities said, while Kiev was hit for the third time in 24 hours. Since Russia sent troops into its neighbor in February last year, the war has largely been fought inside Ukraine, though Moscow has reported some attacks on its territory, including an alleged assassination attempt against President Vladimir Putin. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said the early morning drone assault had injured 2 people, while some residents in 2 lightly damaged apartment blocks were briefly evacuated. Russia's defense ministry said 8 drones were sent by Kiev and all shot down, though Baza, a Telegram channel with links to the security services, said more than 25 drones were involved. In Kiev, Ukrainian defense forces said they shot down more than 20 Iranian-made Shahed drones this morning. According to Ukrainian officials, 1 person died and 4 were injured when debris from a destroyed Russian projectile hit a high-rise apartment building, sparking a fire. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has said Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan in the call yesterday repeated Ankara's desire to buy F-16 fighter jets from the United States, while Biden told him Washington wanted Ankara to drop its objection to Sweden's joining NATO. The exchange took place when Mr. Biden called Mr. Erdogan to congratulate him on his victory in Turkey's presidential election on Sunday. Mr. Biden told reporters before departing the White House for Delaware that during the conversation, he told the Turkish president that Washington wanted a deal with Sweden before any F-16 talks. Asked if he expected any movement from Erdogan on Sweden's NATO membership, Biden said he raised the issue with him and they were going to talk more about it next week. Sweden and Finland applied for NATO membership last year, ditching long-held policies of military non-alignment following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the West Balkans, NATO has condemned as totally unacceptable attacks by demonstrators in Kosovo that left at least 30 of its peacekeepers injured. Police and NATO troops clashed with Serb protesters in the north, where there has been unrest over the installation of ethnic Albanian mayors. Tear gas and stun grenades were used to deter protesters in Zvecan after they tried to invade a government building. NATO soldiers also found a security cordon around 2 other town halls. Serbian President Alexander Vučić said more than 50 Serbs needed hospital treatment and that even more were injured. The crisis dates back to April when Kosovo Serbs boycotted local elections, allowing ethnic Albanians to take control of local councils with a turnout of less than 4%. In sport, Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag says Captain Harry Maguire has a decision to make on his future at the club. The 30-year-old England defender made only 16 appearances in the Premier League for United this season. Lisandro Martinez and Rafa Varane have been Ten Hag's preferred centre-back pairing in his first season in charge at Old Trafford. Ten Hag told reporters that no one would be happy with this situation, adding that the English defender trains always on best levels. He noted that he handles the situation well and is in that manner and in his captaincy important for the squad. While Ten Hag did not confirm whether Maguire would be a United player next season, the former Ajax boss said that goalkeeper David De Gea will be staying for the 2023-2024 campaign. Away from football, Novak Djokovic wrote a political message about Kosovo on a camera lens after beginning his quest for a record 23rd men's Grand Slam singles title with victory at the French Open. Serbia's Djokovic claimed a 6-3, 6-2, 7-6, 7-1 win over Alexandra Kovacevic. After beating the American, Djokovic wrote, "Kosovo is the heart of Serbia. Stop the violence." The statement was a reference to recent tension in Kosovo, which declared independence from Serbia in 2008, but Belgrade has never recognized Kosovo's independence. Speaking to Serbian journalists, Djokovic, whose father was born in Kosovo, said he was not a politician, nor does he intend to enter into debate. But as a Serb, it hurts him what is happening in Kosovo, adding that Serbs are being expelled from the municipalities, and this is the least he could do. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our top stories. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has commenced the hearing on the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Labour Party, Allied People's Movement against the victory of President Bola Tinubu. Officials of the Department of State Service, DSS, have stormed the Lagos State Office of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, located at number 15A, Awolowo Road in Lagos. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian drones struck Moscow this morning and were shot down, Russian authorities said, while Kiev was hit for the third time in 24 hours. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Westernspring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Westernspring Television. That ends Spring News at 12. I am Okpayemioni. Thanks for watching.